ale. Now then, let's have a look at this overhand right now, or overhand left if you're southpaw. Just reverse the image, it's easy, isn't it? So, this backhand, the big overhand one, all right? It doesn't matter whether you do boxing, kickboxing, Thai boxing, self-defense, any martial art, doesn't matter. It's worth knowing how to throw a big overhand, isn't it? Comes in handy in self-defense as well. So, some key things about it, right? There's many ways to throw the overhand right, but the principles will remain the same. And the principles is that you want to get your head offline, you want to get your distance right, the angle right, and you want to really whip that punch over. So how do you whip it over? Well, if the weapon, whether it's a punch, an elbow, stick, glass, bottle, whatever, the weapon needs to go behind the rest of you. What do I mean by that? Well, exaggerated to make a point, if the rest of you's gone, the weapon's still got to go, and then it'll follow afterwards, and that whipping sort of sensation, if you like, is what will generate the power, or help to generate the power. So other things that do that is that your non-hitting shoulder wants to dip down. Now, however it dips down dictates the angle and direction of the overhand, doesn't it? Because if I dip down that way, my body wants to go that way. If I dip down that way, my body wants to go that way. So your lead shoulder is your direction finder, if you like. It's the one that's taking your line in the line you want it to go for the maximum effect. Hope that makes sense. Other things is that you've got to, in boxing and that, you get away with it when you've got gloves on. You'll see what I call improper punching, where it's landing not with the proper part of the hand, of the knuckles, the bottom three knuckles. It might be landing with the inside of the glove and all sorts of stuff. Now in boxing, it doesn't matter. You can argue that in a self-defense situation, it doesn't really matter. As long as you knock the guy out, it don't matter if you hurt your hand, put up with it. But ideally, you want to land with the bottom three knuckles so that you land correctly on the other person. Less damage to you, more damage to them. So there's that as well. So you're going to need to have a bit of a bend in your arm to ensure that you can do that, and make sure that your hand and your forearm follow the same trajectory coming down. So they're not like this, they're following the same trajectory, your fist and your elbow, essentially, which is proper punching and what you should do with many other punches as well. So you step across offline, you move your head fast, and don't even bother looking at the target. Once you've got your target, you don't need to see it to know where it is. And then you fling your shoulders over and you rotate the waist, the shoulders, over and down and through the target, right the way through. So slowly and badly, first of all, you turn off, wallop, down and over. You turn off and over. Now, once you start to pick the power up, you're going to want to skim the bag, but we'll move on to that. So turn off and over. So you mark out roughly where it is, there's your target, and over. And don't worry about balance at the minute, you'll get it back. So there's your target, and over. You want to make sure you're landing with the proper part of the glove. Now, a jaw doesn't move the same way as a bag. A bag will remain very static. You should put a dent in the bag to show that you're doing a proper punch. A jaw won't do that, you'll go right through the jaw. So another way to make sure you're doing it right when you practice this is to skim through the bag to simulate that hit on the jaw. So show you what I mean. So you will get that slight delay where it's hit the jaw, or you've hit a bit more to the side of the head, for example, and skim it off. Why? Well, if I skim off, I'll get used to the follow through that I will have when I do hit the jaw. You should also practice missing. Why? Because in a real fight, in a boxing match, you're going to miss half your punches at best anyway. So you might as well get used to missing them and seeing what happens to your balance, and practicing making sure you're not off balance when you do miss. So you turn it, drop the shoulder, any angle you want, right the way through. Hitting the back, skimming the back, mark it, skim the back, mark it, miss him. Just clipped in there. Miss him. Make sure you can get your balance back. So don't forget, this is just one way of throwing that overhand. There's lots and lots of variations on it. Variations where you keep your front leg straight, for example, things like that, which we can show at other times. But for now, that should keep you going. Whip it through and see how hard you hit. Oh, hey, and you should be subscribing, shouldn't you? Get your thing, you know what to do anyway, all that subscribing stuff. And if you really like what's happening, join the newsletter. There's a link down in the thingy. You don't have to do it. Anyway, see how you get on. Give it a good wallop and add that to your arsenal if you haven't got one. And if you have got it, look at some of the principles in gaining power and see how you can add those to what you're already doing. Anyway, catch you on the next one.